So give it a minute till you can see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says it right there.
Yeah, I think it'll probably take a minute.
There it is.
You're not a dish.
Oops.
You're a...
I didn't know I had my volume on. You're not. That's interesting. Here we go.
All right. Ready to go?
Yeah.
Let's get down. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is Wednesday, May the 27th, 2020. So we're going to jump right into this because a lot of times when we have these opportunities to do these shows, generally they're because of a rainy day. We don't quite expect to do them this time of the year. But rainy days force us to kind of get off the court, and that enables us to do this. So anyway, we're gonna do the same thing we did last time. Carla and I are just gonna roll off like the top 15 headlines that we have read within the past day or two. Having not really even read anything about the headlines.
I read a little bit here.
A little?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And whether we care, or whether, okay, let's discuss, or nah, like who gives a shit, that's totally worthless and a waste of time. So that type of thing. Are you in, are you out, or just get rid of it, right?
And how's everyone doing? I've heard a lot of states are opening up. A lot of countries are opening up. Some are in worse situations. So how's everybody?
Yeah, I think Brazil and India now are kind of flipping into the thick of things. But
yeah.
I think a lot of that stuff will come up in various topics. I'm only assuming so. So she wrote down some topics, and I did the same. But again, these are topics that we just saw, and we'll just get into it here.
Right.
All right?
Mm-hmm. I saw that Ying Hao was waiting since 9:40. He said, I'm mostly in, so he could have just stayed there and whatever. I don't know.
You ready to roll?
Yeah, this guy.
All right, so the very first topic that I wrote, and this was the first thing that I saw, and I just wrote it down. All right, here's the topic. Novak Djokovic explains why he did not invite Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal to the Adria Tour. Now let me repeat this. Novak Djokovic explains why he did not invite Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal to this Adria Tour. All right, first of all,
which is an exhibition, right?
An exhibitionary type thing.
Mm-hmm. And they're playing more than 4 games, I hope.
Hasn't there been like an old saying that let's give them something to talk about? Who's the band that sang the song "Let's Give Them Something to Talk About"?
That wasn't a band. It was
girl.
a country song.
Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the headline here's a headline that I can only assume that is just trying to make people click on it. Let me explain. This one I did read a little bit about, and I assumed that it was just a headline to make someone click. So the reason why Novak Djokovic did not invite Rafael Nadal or Roger Federer to this exhibitionary type tournament was not because he was being the dickhead like he's always portrayed to be. It was simply because, logically, Roger Federer is recovering from injury, and a pretty decent one. You know, not a weak injury, but an injury that needs convalescence. Why would Roger Federer come out and play the tournament? Therefore, logically, it didn't even quote-unquote cross his mind to invite him.
But why would even Roger Federer play an exhibition
He
where
wouldn't.
Djokovic is playing?
He
The
wouldn't.
whole point of exhibition is just to get practice. Why would he want to practice with Djokovic? And on top of that, by the way, he is practicing. We just found out he's been practicing the whole time.
Well, good. He should be.
But again, why would you invite Federer and Nadal, who are your two rivals, who you're trying to pass, to go to an exhibition? Why?
See, I don't even think.
Why would you invite them? These two guys are not going to be there. They're going to be there if there's millions and millions of dollars involved. It's just an exhibition match.
Okay, so we didn't pre-discuss this before this,
No.
Carla. So you would have clicked on it because you thought rival. See, I disagree with that. I don't think he didn't invite them because they're his rivals. I think he didn't invite them because homeboy is just...
Oh, I'm so sorry. I wasn't seeing the comments, and I just saw Jean said, hello. I guess my thing just popped up. Ying Hao said, greetings. We got some No Monday. Okay, hi guys. I'm sorry. I just saw the comments here just now. Go ahead.
Our internet connection sometimes here is subpar at best. It's like first serve percentage at 30%. But again, I disagree with Carla and the take. Again, we didn't read. I touched on this article, yes. However, I don't think she did at all. So what I'm getting at here is the headline is written to persuade someone to click that thinks this is because of the rivalish type atmosphere. I don't see it that way.
I see it that way. Again, even when the exhibitions are, before this whole thing virus started and we had exhibition matches, why would you put three of the best guys together in one exhibition thing? No, if you're smart, you're gonna have Djokovic in one exhibition thing. Then you're gonna have Federer in another thing, and you're gonna have Nadal in another thing to attract more people. You want to attract more people. But why would these guys want to practice together when they want to beat each other? Why would you expose your game even practicing? I'm sorry, I disagree with you.
Well, I think you're one of.
But I don't think he did it to be a bad guy.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think he did it to be a bad guy. I just think, well, why the hell would I invite them? They're not interested in coming.
Okay, there is no good guy, bad guy here. Take that away from
No, there is definitely not.
The reason why I brought up the topic is the headline itself. Is it a baited headline? When I read the headline, I'm thinking, obviously he didn't invite them because of the rivalry thing, because he's a better champion than that. You just let me talk. You interpret it as I brought up the topic, as, it's a rival thing. No good, no bad, no the ugly, just it's a rival thing. Why would he invite them? Because they're rivals. That's how you assumed it, and that's how it was baited to click. However, the bottom line is here's simple logic. You have Roger Federer coming in off injury, right?
Yeah.
And taking and rehabbing in a sense. Why would, number one, given the pandemic, why would he travel with whoever in entourage? He's not going to fly solo. He's going to bring an entourage. Why would he travel to play a meaningless match, hypothetically, outside of charity, which bravo for that. But
exactly.
But why would he go? So it's not a rivalry thing. It's like Djokovic saying, "I wouldn't go if the script was flipped."
Gene said, "Honestly, who cares about exhibition anyway?"
Okay,
I
agree there.
Like I said, Djokovic was thinking in his head, "Well, I'm not gonna ask. They don't even care about that."
Okay, I agree with Gene. So again,
B-Dog said exactly. Ain't doing it. Inviting for exhibition.
Boom. Gene Swart takes the cape on that. Ding. Knockout punch from Gene Swart. And I agree totally.
And I'm sure
Who gives a shit?
Federer and Nadal are practicing their own way.
Done.
On top of that, it's not safe yet. These guys don't want to expose themselves that way. I mean, I read where Federer said he doesn't even want to play Grand Slams if there aren't any fans around him.
Exactly.
So.
Gene Swart, exactly. Ding. Who cares? The title. Him not inviting him was for people like Carla to click on because they thought rivalry. When it doesn't even matter.
I'll put it to you guys this way: if it has Novak, I usually don't click on it, and I haven't been clicking on much ton of stuff, anyways.
All right, so that was my first topic, and
I wouldn't have clicked on it anyway.
And it ended in "Who gives a shit" from Gene Swart. Okay, so who's next? Well, you got one.
Well, I read where I guess all these players are doing the Zoom, they're talking live and stuff, and they were talking to Joe Wilfried Tsonga, and we all remember, I read this one, where Rafa lost to Soderling in 2009 French Open. And he said, quote, "Rafa will never speak about this, but when he lost to Soderling at the French Open in 2009, we all knew he was sick. He had a bad throat and did not feel well at all." And that's the truth. And I'm sure, because, the next time that Rafa faced him, he beat him. He beat his butt. So, it happens. A player has a bad day, they're sick. Whatever. Rafa never made excuses. He never does make excuses, which I think is good. And he's never talked about it. Rafa never talked about it. But did I really care about reading this? Not really.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. That's how boring tennis is now.
Well, okay. Let me put an exclamation point on this one. Then I'll do it times two. Jordan's flu game. What? And then let's do the Pete Sampras. Wasn't he throwing up? Was it the same match during where his coach?
No, that was different.
So he had two kind of flu game moments.
Mm-hmm.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. The part of the way we drive our students to play the game.
So Gene says lame excuse from Tsonga, priceless.
Yeah.
It's not an excuse. He didn't say an excuse. He said we all knew in the locker room. Do you guys really think Soderling really beat Nadal? Like, really?
I do. I like that dude.
Federer beat him in clay.
So?
What does that tell you?
I like that.
What does that tell you? It was no competition. Come on. It's like...
Hey, Soderling was hitting bombs on everybody.
It's like Djokovic get beat by Cecchinato. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
that's a shame.
come on,
That's a
guys.
shame.
Like, use your brains.
I think that Cecchinato
Come
beating
on,
Djokovic
man.
arguably
It's
is,
not an excuse, Gene.
But hey,
Every player has one bad day.
Okay, no, hold up.
That was
Hold
Djokovic's
up.
bad day.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, dollar short.
But Rafa never made the excuse. That's the point. Sango was just talking about it, that they knew in the locker room. I mean, I didn't care. But.
Okay. Why? That was what, 2009?
Yeah.
So 11 years later, we're gonna bring up his throat.
That's
hurt?
how boring tennis is. There's nothing to talk about.
And even then, you know, we coach some of our junior students, like, even if this person has a better looking game than you, if you can outlast them, or they get sick, or they blow out their ankle, no problem. I mean, we're athletes, we get hurt. So if you can play another ball, no matter what, and you know, if shit hits the fan on the opposing side,
you could be losing 5-0.
I can't help that. I can't help that.
Yeah.
Not my problem. So he gets sick, you know, whatever. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Think flu game and move on.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
My turn next.
I guess.
All right, this was like number 2.
And no rain out there. It's a beautiful day, by the way. Now. Okay, go ahead.
My next headline.
Yeah.
All right. World Team Tennis to allow up to 500 fans at matches.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I read
that was kind of like my. I was like, huh?
Who cares? Yeah, I read that.
Okay.
I actually had that one down. Yeah, World Team Tennis. They're allowing 500 spectators. That happens July 12th to August 2nd in West Virginia. And Kenan Stevens, Bob, and Mike Fine. I mean,
now, Carla, did you not used to play World Team Tennis?
Like once, I think.
There wasn't 500 fans there in the first place. I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm not knocking on it. Good tennis is great tennis, and any tennis is wonderful tennis. But I mean, I've been there. I mean, she's been there.
Let me read some.
You usually got about 12 people out there, so it's another baited. It's another baited headline. Let's click here, like, oh, they're gonna do the. You know, this isn't a rebirth or anything.
It's just whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
anyway, so Michael Walker says, I believe Soderlin beat Nadal playing out of his mind. However, Nadal could have been sick because you can be sick any day of the week. True. Gene said not even Fed can beat Rafa on clay. He didn't even push him to 5 sets ever at Roland Garros. Although they have played tough 4-setters 1 year. Can't recall though. Yinghao says, out of all players to beat the clay god of clay, I would have never picked Soderlin. I always believe him as a hardcourt player. Yeah, me too. But Soderlin was playing out of his mind 2009. Nadal is human. Yes, that's the whole point. He's human. You can lose to somebody one time. Just like Cecchinato had beat Djokovic on clay. I mean, did we believe it? We were all like, really?
You want me to tell you a crazy thing is there are certain instances in all of our lives where we always remember what we were doing when it happened. And I say this respectively and not in a joking matter whatsoever, but things like 9/11, really dreadful day, but big events, this thing that we're all going through or have been and hopefully are progressing out of, but big instances in life that we remember because where we were and because it was I guess it would influence you in some way. I remember when Soderling beat Nadal, and I was in Vermont, and I was driving, and it was on like a type of like not an XM, but kind of a version of that. I forget what it was called, like Delphi or anyway. It was in my Subaru car, and it was there, and I heard that, and I remember like really. You know, like
I watched the match, and I watched him play, and I thought he's not playing like he normally does, but whatever happens. Michael Walker says Federer beat Nadal 2-6, 6-2, 6-0 in Hamburg on clay. See, I don't even remember that.
Well, when you were mentioning Roland Garros a minute ago and you had to beat the king of clay, I was thinking in my head that Federer has beaten Nadal on clay, but I think in 3 out of 5 sets, it's a different story. I think
at Grand Slam, it's a different story.
I think it's a different story to stick with it through the thick of it. I was thinking about the same thing Michael Walker was saying, but I didn't say it because I thought about the extra 2 or 3 sets on the backside, so that's the only reason. But I mean, it's happened.
It's tough. Sure, it's tough to beat Nadal at Roland Garros, just like it's tough to beat Djokovic at his baby Australian Open.
Well, it's tough to beat him anywhere, and unfortunately for him, I think the speed bump in the road, which is out of anybody's control, I think it will dampen his heat.
33 years old. Yeah.
I think Djokovic was the biggest loss. And all of the
now looking at it,
yeah, because the fire begins to simmer, and sometimes it takes time to simmer the fire back up. No matter how good you are,
I agree.
You know, I think that Roger Federer has a well, actually, this is another topic, so I'll freeze there.
Yeah.
You want to go on to the next one?
Yeah, I thought this one was interesting. The FFT, I think it's the French
Tennis Federation.
Yeah, will launch a 38 million USA. I'm saying in USA. It's 35 million euros relief fund to French players between 101 500 ranking. 21 million will go to the French clubs, and then the rest will go to the players. I thought, wow, these guys are really doing something good for the tennis federation in France. I mean, for the tennis players in France. I thought this was a positive article. I mean, I know the USTA is doing 50 million to regional associations. They didn't say players. They're talking about clubs, programs. But for the French Federation to do this for tennis players that are struggling, ranked 101 to 500, I thought, how awesome is that?
Okay, I did not read this, and I say this is a huge positive, but let me tie in to this topic, a topic that I had, and let's bring them both together and kind of morph two into one. So I read an article this morning, didn't read much about it, but the article was this. Not my headline, I'm quoting this. Francis Tiafoe, if you don't know Francis Tiafoe, he is the young and at one point next gen, and I'm hoping he's now on the mainstay at manhood and not next gen anymore, because I do like Tiafoe. I wish he would work on his forehand, and I think we've always been open about that, but I do love the young man, and I do love his family story. But here's the topic. Francis Tiafoe wants to be a role model and inspire African American kids to take up tennis.
That's good.
So Francis Tiafoe wants to be a role model and inspire African American kids to take up tennis. Now, she just read a comment or a topic that indicated French wanted to help the club level tennis. Mm-hmm. Now, I like both theories, but the theory Francis Tiafoe here is much more beneficial to the game moving forward. And let me explain that.
Oh, definitely, I agree.
Now, okay, so here Francis Tiafoe, and if I remember correctly, I think his father immigrated here and was a janitor per se, which is a respectful position if B-Dog's still out there, and he's been Air Force and military. The boatswain mate, the soldier that keeps the facilities clean, absolutely are the integral part of the brotherhood. You're keeping everybody safe and hygienically safe. Anyway, rewind that to Tiafoe. If you go to any American park, and I say any, and I mean any. No, I'm not saying New York only, or Alabama only, or Mississippi only. I'm saying any just regular public facility in the United States right now, and look at the public courts that any John Doe can bring their kids out to or play on. How do they look, Carla? Run down, cracks in them. The fences are falling over. There's no nets up, etc. Now, I'm not picking on minority, majority. I forget about all that. But I can assure you that the power potential of tennis lies within the realms of what he's speaking about. So I think that the French Federation may want to, and I don't know how society works there. I've never lived there, so I'm biased.
Aren't we teaching someone that's from France?
Who?
Mauricia.
Oh, Mauricia, yes. Yeah. So she can chime in on this.
And her boyfriend or husband, she said, their parents run the tennis club.
They probably have no idea that we even.
But I'm just saying we could ask them because he would know.
So what I want to say here is look at the public facilities here, okay? If this was the U.S. saying that, and I'm going to give money to the clubs to make sure their courts stay up. Look, some of the people, no disrespect to clubs, I know I worked there as a kid. We were members of some, and then it was just like, hey, wait a minute, why are we spending $10,000 a month to be here? What? I'm not going to get into all that, but I think they can handle keeping their courts up. I think what would be more beneficial is to put the majority of these millions of dollars into reconstructing those inner city or demolished public courts abroad, not just here in the United States, but internationally, and then fund a few maybe young tennis professionals aspiring to coach with maybe no baggage. You don't want to move their whole family there. I think there's a couple groups, Peter Burnwash International, PBI, recruits tennis coaches with not terribly much experience, but yet no baggage. So bring in some young coaches from here and there. Put them in some affordable lodging and teach kids actually for real, and stop feeding them the red, fuzzy, bouncy, stupid, cheesy balls on a 6-foot court. Get them playing the game. So I'm with Francis Tiafo here, and I put a big star next to that because the problem, and I can talk about this ad nauseum for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. As a coach, I've never seen a lazier generation of tennis players ever in my life. Ever. It's preposterous. They don't want to try. They don't want to do this drill. It's too hot. I need to go check my phone. I'm not going to get into this, but I can promise you that I hope that Francis Tiafo backs that talk up and actually walks the walk here, because I think that with the cancellations of a lot of college sports because of the current pandemic, i.e. football programs, basketball programs, hasn't there been write-ups here recently, Carla, that because of this, that we've had Division I college teams totally alleviating their tennis programs due to the inability now to potentially hold classes in person or have people on campuses in person moving forward? So what better to eliminate? What sports like what? Water polo, tennis, blah, 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 blah,
Well,
blah.
Division I, I can name a lot of schools, but it's a long list.
Whatever.
Division I are losing. I read baseball, cross country, tennis, men's and women's. They're closing it. There's Division II. There was a school my son was interested in, Huntsville, and they had a high tennis, high level tennis team, both women's and men's. Out the coach is asking for support. A lot of level Division II sports, a lot. I mean, there are Division IIIs, NIA that are getting rid of their athletics departments completely.
Now, what happens to the scholarships? They probably get to hold them academically, but then in the future,
they're saying that no, for the future ones, no, but for the ones that are there right now, yeah, they'll do something to help them. But who does this really affect? Since most of the scholarships goes to foreign players.
Yeah, so
it affects more of the foreign players, in my opinion, because the Division I, Division II are all foreign players. So now they're going to have a harder time coming into the United States, doing something they love and getting an education. Yeah. So now it's made it tougher for them.
A couple of questions here, and you all can respond to this. And this is more maybe U.S. rates, that is dollar amounts, and some things that we entertain as coaches, not us. But let's look at coaching rates per hour average at a country club. In the United States for the head pro. What, about $100 an hour, $120 an hour, maybe $80, depending where you are. But I think between $80 an hour and $120 an hour would be fair to say. I'm pretty familiar with that, and that was years ago. Mm-hmm. Let's look at that. Who can afford that? Okay, I get it if you're paying $10,000 a month, and your kids can roll up into the pro shop and say, hey, I want this drink, I want that racket, I want this shirt, I want this pair of shorts, charge it to my parents' account, here's my slip, see ya, and your homeboy standing back there stringing the rackets. I've been there. It sucks sucking that up, but that's the same reason why the future of American men's tennis is abominable. And that's why we're losing these things, because the men's tennis draws college play, or draws a college crowd.
By the way,
you're not going to see it with the powders these days.
I asked a question to I am on this college recruit group on Facebook, and you learn a lot from there, and these are all coaches, college coaches, and I asked them, my daughter's 11 years old, what does it take to get a Division I scholarship for a girl? The UTR score is anywhere between a 5 to a 10.
And that's weak.
That's weak. That's great for a girl.
Oh, okay, but
here's the guys.
Yeah, no.
You want to hear the guys?
Yeah.
You must be a 13 or a 14 to even have a chance for a full men's scholarship, and only 4 are given out per. It was a tough stat. In other words, you better be playing like low-level pro tournaments to even get a D1 scholarship. No wonder the U.S. guys are not getting any.
Exactly.
The girls are so much easier. I was like, well, thank God Lily's a girl.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so we only have to work. Well, I'm not going to get into that because that's wrong.
Well, the little guy is going to have to really bust his butt. But the guys, D1 scholarships, they say it's rare that a guy gets a full scholarship.
Okay, so his second thing here, back to the Francis Tiafo thing.
Hey, hitchhiker.
So if we're going to actually do something like attracting more, and I'm not even gonna to stereotype or to bring in whether you're African American or whether you're Spanish American or whether you're Caucasian or Puerto Rican, it doesn't matter. I think the moral of the story is let's draw more people that are willing to work hard into tennis. And where do we find most of those hungry, hardworking people? We find most of them in the inner cities because they're struggling and they're fighting and they're ready to get out. And they're not the silver spoon raised, gringo-esque Flacco that's rolling up into the country club that's throwing out tickets that, I mean, look, I have been behind the counter at pro shops, at country clubs as the stringer, then going out to go out and teach, and then coming back in making like $20 off of the $80 that was charged to the club, plus the people are paying, no kidding, sometimes $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a month for their and it's not even a membership due. It's I forget what the word. It's not an investment, but it's not a membership dues. It's like a stock market thing. You're buying in and you got to sell out. So you can't get out unless you sell your membership out. So once you buy in, you're kind of locked in. And these people pay mega cash, and their kids are in there dropping like hundreds of dollars on the pro shop visit for a new racket, string it this way, and rolling outside. And, they can hit balls from the center of the court. They can go out and whack balls from the center hash mark at the baseline. Boom, boom, boom. But when you start slicing to them and running them forward and lobbing them, you know what? They just get mad and then smash that brand new racket that they bought on their parents' check. And then they come back in and buy another one. Is that not basically the moral of the story of club level tennis and the U.S. that we have been around for the most part? Okay. Now, why would you, if you were the French Federation, put that into the country club when you could put it into the more destitute areas that are yearning to learn the game, but they have no opportunity to do so? And that's why I agree with Francis Tiafoe.
Yeah, I think that's great that Francis Tiafoe is doing that. I mean, look what Serena and Venus did. They made kids from lower income, minorities, want to play tennis. I mean, when I watched them they're my age, when I watched them, and I remember when I did my Reebok tryouts, there were a lot of kids trying out because those two girls were there.
Let's go.
And that's why I have a lot of respect for them, because we have not seen that from other American players. They were a force.
I would rather have any beginner, novice, never played person that's in any type of mentality to work hard and to struggle because they've seen it versus any silver spoon person rolling out in the brand new outfit at any day. I don't care at what stage in development, because I know I'm going to be able to get in their face and push them hard, and then maybe we can kind of...
Yeah, I prefer a kid that comes from nothing.
Let's go.
Than one that's spoiled at everything and that parents make excuses for.
Here's my racket. You can use mine. You don't need your own racket. You don't got one? That's okay. Use mine. Yeah, I'll take that kid over the one with 27 when they can't even hit the ball.
Right.
Anyway. All right, next topic.
Nicholas Vashvili.
Oh, man. I forgot about
arrested for accusing... he was assaulted his wife supposedly in front of his son, who's 5 years old. He was released after $31,000 bail and could face 3 years in jail. He's scheduled to be in court July 16. What do we think of that?
Damn, I can't look. Can I start on that one? Obviously, hopefully there is a proper judicial system there that is fair and just, and I know that's hard to come by anywhere on this globe today, if not impossible. I think back in the days of Shakespeare, didn't Shakespeare say something like "Thou shalt kill all the attorneys" or something like that? I'm not a poetic scholar. But nonetheless, I think something along those lines, and I think there's been similar variations thereof over eons of time, right? Like, if I commit a crime and I'm responsible for you to get me off, and then if you don't get me off, well then screw you, and it's a shit stew is what I'm getting at. So he's in a shit stew. So hopefully there's a fairness in the trial, because if money becomes, I'll buy it off, and then if I did this, I get off, then you're just asking for bad karma, right?
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think Gene sent us this article, and you said, well, and he deserves to pay the price if he did do that.
And that's the big question.
Yeah, and then I said the same thing, and then I kept reading more about it, about what's going on, which is tough. We see this a lot. We see the girl wants money, blah blah blah, that she gets it. But again, I don't know who's innocent. I don't know who's guilty. That's for the courts to decide.
Okay, so we're going to squash this relatively quickly, because there's always two sides to every story. Number one, in my opinion, this is my opinion, and I know there are some different religions and isms and beliefs where this isn't the case, so I won't offend anyone, or I don't want to...
I can't either. I think it's too bad for him right now.
I don't want to offend anyone, but I will say this. Forget about that story, but I think if any male were to strike physically a female, then you're just a weak, sorry,
Yeah.
I don't care what. I'm not going to get into it. But if it's true, then hopefully, then he learns from his mistake. I know I've made a lot of mistakes. If it's not true, hopefully this young lady finds a way
So
to.
Gene says instant jail, no mercy for him. If he's guilty.
Again, who knows? Here in the United States, and I'm sure it happens everywhere, but again, I don't live everywhere. I live here in the United States, but I can't tell you how many days that ladies will proclaim certain things to especially athletes, namely a lot of basketball players and football players, and will say everything under the sun simply because they're trying to get a settlement. And I'm not going to get into litigation and so forth, but let's just say you're a super prominent athlete, and whether you made a mistake and you had consensual intercourse with somebody or whatever. But sometimes something consensual or may not happen at all. The next day, they go separate ways, and the next day, this person shows up somewhere and proclaims that it was not, and then that athlete becomes in the limelight. And to get it squashed and out of the news as quickly as possible, they settle. Hey, I'm willing to pay you $1 million if you just shh, so I can continue even though this is bullshit. So it happens every day. So I can't assume.
Michael said, "There's a black man threatening me and my dog." He's like,
Yeah. Thank you. So this is what I'm saying. You can't believe everything you read.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't take her side because I know things happen, nor his side. Yeah, let's see what happens.
You just can't.
Because in marriage, if you have money, things happen, and who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
But Hitchhiker says, Justin, I know you're interested in storms. We had a cyclone here last week.
I would have loved to have been there and film it. Next time, if you can predict the projected path of that cyclone and it comes near you and you fly me over there, I will catch the plane and film it with you over there.
Gene says
hurricane season's coming soon.
Gene says I can relate to some of my family members' husbands are extremely abusive to the wives. Yeah, it happens, But then again, when you have money, you're a target too. So, and if you marry a super pretty girl that likes, then you're a target too. So.
I don't know, but where I come from, if we find out that some dude has been beating on their lady,
I'll beat them.
We're gonna go show them a visit.
Yeah.
And real soon after that, then we'll call the proper people to come handle that. But it will come after there are some bumps and bruises.
Sure.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And that's how it always should be.
Yeah.
All right. But again, everyone should be innocent until proven guilty. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Michael says I've seen wives abuse husbands. Exactly. And this is why you can't pick sides, because we don't know.
Bro.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick one. I think this will get squashed pretty quickly. The British tour. I wasn't quite sure that there was ever a British tour. I'd never heard of that, but I'm sure. There's not an American tour. At least I think there's like a USTA run. Like, what is it? Like the Atlantic 10 or something. Anyway, but
I didn't know about
the British tennis tour heralds its return to an elite level of tennis in the UK. I did read this a little bit. They are going to allow British tennis players to kind of tour around the country respectively and play in tournaments. And I think the top...
Andy Murray playing?
Andy Murray will play, so that's good for him. I'm assuming Johanna Konta will play.
Good.
Can we name some other British players that are up on the hot and hot? Can we go? Daniel Evans. Let's get another one going.
Kyle Edmund.
Kyle Edmund's another good player.
Jamie Murray.
He's a doubles guy, but okay, you could roll him in there. Still have some good tennis.
What's her name? Watson. Heather
Watson. There you go. Good.
Bolter.
Oh,
Katie Bolter.
Dropping bombs. Dropping bombs. But no, I mean, and look.
That's good.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great. I meant that no joke because they're better off than U.S. tennis.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that. Well, not on the women's side.
About the same.
Yeah, they're close. But I
Dan
think
Evans from my hometown of Birmingham, UK. Cool.
Wasn't there a song? I don't want to get into my music history.
Ying Hao says, pretty cold here where I am. Heater getting a decent workout. Here the humidity has been crazy.
Where is he located? He's in France?
Where are you, Ying Hao? Crazy here. I love it because this is when I get in shape, when it's hot, humid. As a matter of fact, when we're done with the show, I'm going to hit with him. And I'm going to play a set against my son.
Let's get down. Okay, here's another topic. You ready for this one? And this one was hot off the press, okay? Quote unquote. This had like lightning bolts and everything around it. You can buy a classic sport photograph, a classic sport photograph of Billie Jean King for $55 with free delivery.
That's it? 55?
That's it. It's not a num. Again, this is a headline though, so right now I can have shipped to your
All right,
door.
that's done. Anyways, so the WTA on June 23rd will have the Credit One Bank exhibition in South Carolina. You're gonna have Azarenka, Stevens, Bouchard, Kennan, Monica Puig, your favorite girl, Anisimova, Brady, Collins, Leila Fernandez, Tomjanovic, and Andreescu will be playing in this exhibition.
Whole lot of screeching up over there. You better bring some earmuffs.
I'm sure you guys will watch.
Maybe.
This one sounds a lot more interesting than Djokovic's one.
Maybe. will you go out of your way to watch it? I think that's the question. I think
Okay,
that's.
I've been watching. I watched this whole Anisimova against wrist thing.
Whoa! That was the backyard something classic where it was like
it was
in someone's backyard.
But great court. I wish I had
great
it.
court. I wish I had it too.
But though, I hope it's not 4 games. I really hope they get to play
sucks.
like regular sets. Really.
The 4 games thing. I don't mean to disrespect the mindset of getting tennis back into the thick of things for people to watch, etc. But the problem with the first 4 games is this: is let's look. I'll use myself. I played defensive tennis and I always have. My goal is to pick a spot and get to that spot, put the ball in the spot where I want it to go, to bring you to that spot, and just get it right by you without even hitting the ball terribly hard. That's how I play. That's how I've always played. So sometimes we don't figure out the other opponent's moving issues until about 4-0 sometimes in the first or second set. Geez, I can't tell you how many times I've been down 4-0 and come back and won 6-4, 6-0.
So Yinghau's in Adelaide, South Australia.
It gets cold in South Australia? Okay, fact here. Geographical meteorological fact. It gets cold in South. I'm thinking crocodiles and bite your leg off Crocodile Dundee. I didn't know it got cold in South Australia. What's the temperature Fahrenheit? What do you consider cold? It's like 68 degrees Fahrenheit cold? I don't know. I'm guessing like it's 104 degrees Fahrenheit. You think it's cold because it's usually like 190. That's what I'm guessing, but I might be wrong.
I don't know.
So, anyway.
50s is cold? I don't know.
Shoot, for me, I mean, we used to play tennis when it was, light snowfall and like bitter cold.
Mm-hmm.
Like around the 0 mark, we played tennis in.
Yeah.
Yeah, around 0, below 0. I mean, am I exaggerating that, Mom, Dad, sister?
It gets cold during the Australian Open in the middle of the summer. Well, what's cold?
What's cold? Define cold.
I'm from New York. What's cold?
Yeah, I mean, you got to define cold here.
What's cold?
We all have different definitions of cold. I'm like cold, like -20 nor'easter skiing down Killington Peak in Vermont up 4,000 feet.
50 Fahrenheit.
Oh, geez. That's like bikini thong weather. Huh?
Huh? What now?
What? Just kidding. I wear a bikini. No, not me. 50 degrees. I mean, come on. That's not that bad. All right, next topic. Fabio Fognini. Fabio, the beautiful beard, silky smooth. Fabio, the beautiful beard himself. Fabio Fognini
He's
states...
33 now.
Who?
I thought he was like 43. He just turned 33.
Who, Fabio?
Yeah.
The beautiful
He
beard?
looks like he's 43, but okay.
Okay, so Fabio... By the way, does anybody remember that supermodel back in the day, Fabio?
Yeah, with the blonde hair.
With the blonde hair,
yeah,
super
He
flowing.
still looks the same.
But no, do you remember when he was doing a photo shoot?
He would do the butter.
And he was on a roller coaster. And the sparrow came down, like he was going through a loop, whoosh, and came down, and the freaking bird tagged him right in the face and like blew his freaking nose out. Do you remember this? You don't remember this? You should Google that up. Fabio got drilled in the face with a sparrow, jacked him up. Let's go.
I remember that.
And I think the sparrow actually perished here. But I think the bigger problem was Fabio had his nose blown out by a freaking sparrow.
Yeah, his face was everything plus his hair.
Is that karma?
I don't know.
Came down with a bloody nose after leaving the park after doing a front row photo shoot. The beautiful Fabio, the beautiful beard himself that wanted to drop bombs on the London crowd at the last Wimbledon or maybe the year before. But that Fabio Fognini, the beautiful one himself, states that Roger Federer is the best player to watch. Can you believe Silky Smooth likes Roger Federer?
No, I actually thought he would like Novak.
No, I don't think so because he's done a Silky Smooth.
So the 2 Silky Smooth guys?
Silky Smooth. Yes, indeed. The Fabio, the beautiful beard Fognini, states that Roger Silky Smooth Federer with the silky smooth attire is the best player to watch. Can you imagine that?
I can't imagine living with that guy. Waking up, you trying to shower, he's still in the bathroom looking at himself.
Still here, baby. Hurry up, we've been out here
1
now.
hour later.